Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's session, we are going to learn how we can use MS Graph APIs via Flow or Power Automate to fetch some content or the objects around Active Directory. So I'll be explaining you all the steps related to it. The first step would be app registration. We have to register one app in the AAD portal, and after getting client ID and client secret, we'll be making a call to HTTP request from the flow, passing on all the required fields related to application ID, client ID and tenant ID. And thereafter, we'll use one action, one REST API endpoint to fetch up the group details. So that's we are going to learn in this session. So as I said, we'll be starting with the MS Graph API app registration. So I am just going to the AAD portal. So I'll be registering one app under the AAD portal. So if you are not admin for this AAD portal.azure.com, then probably you can just draft the instruction document for your admin, and there are fairly 4 or 5 simple steps for the app registration. Your admin can do that on behalf of you, and after getting the tenant ID, application ID and the client secret, you would able to use them in turn into your Power Automate. So once you log in into AAD portal, you have to go to the Azure Active Directory, and under the Azure Active Directory there are app registrations. So if you click on it, it will give you a pane where you can start registration of your new app, which you are in turn going to use for your MS Graph connection via Power Automate. So I'm just naming that as O365 MS Graph API or app, and you can just keep the supported accounts as accounts in the organization directory, only my organization as single tenant, and you can just simply click on register. So this app is registered. So once this app is registered, you will see you get one application client ID. So you need to copy it because we are going to use it going forward. I'm just copying that. First one is application ID. The second one we don't need it. This third one we need as directory tenant ID, because we are going to use that while using our flow. And soon we'll be creating client secrets as well. Before that, we'll just add up the API permission, required API permission for this app. So from the left hand navigation, you can see there is option of having API permission. So I'm clicking on it, and I am just add a permission to this current API. And now you can click on Microsoft Graph, and once you click on Microsoft Graph, you have to click on the application permissions, because you have to grant permissions to your application. And now you can just search for the required permissions your app would be using. So as I said, I'll be working with groups, so I'll just try to search with group and group members. So I'm just expanding that group. My app should read all the groups, create groups and read write as well. And under the group member, I have to actually iterate through the group, so that's why I need these application as well. So I'm just adding permission, and I need a couple of more permissions as well. So I'm just typing in and saying user, and because user, I would like to iterate through my directory rather than user, I need to type directory, so that I can iterate through my directory and get the user's details. So I have to add this permission as well. So now you can see in the status is saying not granted. So that means this application permission has not been consented by your admin. So you have to click on yes to grant the permission. So there is a tab that grant admin consent for your organization. You have to click on it and say yes. So it's done. So your app got the required permission. So as I said, if you are not admin of this portal, then you would not be seeing these options. So you have to contact your AD admin, and these are fairly simple steps. Any admin can do that for you. And after that, we have to generate the client secret. So you have to go back to your application. I'm just going back to my application by clicking in the breadcrumb, and under this left navigation I will find clients certificates and secrets. So you have to click on this new client secret and do any description you want to give, and the expiration you can set it up like maximum expiration as 24 months, so that's 2 years from the date. And once you add it, you'll get the value of your this client secret, and you have to copy that too. So I'm just pasting that in notepad, is secret. Alright, so from the configuration step we are good. We got our this app permissions, API permissions, and consented by admin as well. So now we'll just go back to our flow. As I said, I will be using the HTTP request from my flow to make a call to MS Graph REST API endpoints, so that I can get the required the group details or the member details which I want to make. So I'm creating one instant cloud flow, and I'm using a manual trigger. So based on your requirement, you can choose the trigger. For example, if you want to fetch the group details based on some data is being input into the SharePoint list, for example the group name, or any list item is containing that group name which you want to expand through all the group members, then you can just set the trigger as SharePoint list item. So right now I'm just doing that, the manual trigger, and from action I would be using the HTTP action. And in this method I am going to use get method. In URI I will tell you like what we are going to add up there. Right now in this authentication you have to choose the authentication as Active Directory auth, and it expanded for the few more details. So now we are going to put the details which we fetched, which we generated. So I am just opening my notepad, and in client ID you have to paste client ID, in tenant ID paste tenant ID, and in the secret you have to paste the secret. So now the audience, now you can see the audience is the required field. We have to paste something over there. So what need to be pasted? So I'll just tell you, and the authority as well. So authority we can just simply put that. So under authority I'll be just putting the HTTP as login.microsoft.com, and for the audience we have to pass the graph.microsoft.com because we are going to check for the only MS Graph. So I'm just pasting this one, graph.microsoft.com, and authority we have already pasted in authority. And now we are all set, and now we have to pass the URI. So for URI, if you would like to make a call to group by any group endpoints, so you can just simply go to your Microsoft MS Graph Explorer, just so that you can see like whatever the endpoints you're passing, it should be working. So I'm let me just sign into my Office Graph from there, and I'm there. So now you in left hand side you can see like you got few of the sample queries already. So for example, if you would like to get all the groups, you can use this query, and if you would like to get just one group details or create a new group, then all these queries you can use. So based on your requirement you can just simply do a query. So I am just saying list me all the groups in my organization. So this would give me that query, and if you run it, it will give you all the results. If you can see, I got all these groups from my query. So now this is for getting all the groups, but for example you need to just filter on based on the display name. So then you can just pass it on the filter query, and with filter query you can just add up your search string. So I can show you that how you can write filter query. So you have to type in the filter. This expands, this give you all the parameters which you can use in. So I'm using filter equal to when something starts with, so I'm just using starts with what, display name, and let's say I'll just pick up one of this group display name, for example this project, my project task. So I'll say when display name is this. So if you run your query, it will only give you one result for your specific group with a display name. And why I'm actually giving you this filter with a display name is because it's very hard that you will be directly having the object ID of that group. So that's why generally we have, or in your SharePoint as well, like if you want to trigger that from SharePoint, you will only be having the display name of your DLs of your office groups. So that's why you can use this query. So this query I'm going to paste into this URI section, and now you can see I have typed it in now, and it's saying invalid query, and that the reason of this is because it takes that as in spaces. It doesn't recognize the spaces as valid query. So what you can do is rather than just typing in the hard-coded part, you can simply just create in the previous tab, just do a compose, or you can just set up the variable as well. So it's your choice. My project ID, I need to just copy paste once again, I missed it. And we'll be just setting the output of this compose action. So now you see if I was typing the string, it was giving it as invalid URI, but I am using that as compose or set from the variable, then it's pretty fine for us. So now we got it. So now we are there with all the steps. In subsequent step, for example, after getting the group, you would like to extract the members of those group, then you can again use one more HTTP call with a different graph API endpoint, or the REST call, to extract the members from this group. So you can try all your queries over here in a Graph Explorer, and after that you can put it up in a separate HTTP action. So right now the context, what I'm trying to make you understand is like how we can use the Graph API HTTP calls from Flow, and which is all done. So I'm just saving it and do a test run. I'm just running the flow. Oops, so this flow, okay, so our flow, this got failed, and because we appended extra codes to it, so we'll just quickly fix it and then rerun it. So I'm just removing these codes and saving it and doing a test run again, and hopefully this time it should work. Yep, so we got it working, and in the output we scroll down, you can see I got the details for all my group. So that's nice, and objective is achieved. So fairly simple, just few steps for registration of your MS Graph API into the AD portal, and after that use a HTTP action in your flow, and then you are there. So I hope this could be useful for you. So that's it for today. Thank you.